All right, so today we're going to be talking about the basics of what government is. So we're not really going to be getting into the American government or any specific government, just the idea of government and what it is that they do. So objectives for today: what is government? Where does their power come from? How do they uphold the social contract? What if they're not looking out for the public good? What is the public good? So those are the things that I want to go through today. So first, government, simply put, is an institution with the power to make and enforce rules for a group of people. It's not just Republican or Democrat. It's not just one side against the other. It is actually a group of people who are supposed to work together and do what's best for the citizens of a country. So our government does establish rules and regulations that we must follow, and they have that authority to set rules for all of us people or citizens who live in a state. A state is a generic term for a political unit. So in this sense, state is referring to an entire country. And our federal government has sovereignty to rule over us. So the absolute authority to rule over citizens is called sovereignty. Now, governments exercise their sovereignty by making laws, and these laws cover actions, programs, public policies, and even how laws are carried out. So what kind of punishments you will receive when you break a law. So, where people get their power from, where governments have taken power from, has evolved over the centuries. Early philosophers, dating back to the Greeks and Romans and even before them, rulers quite often received their authority from their god or their gods. And so this is called the divine right of king. Someone is chosen by their deities to lead their people. Now, quite often, that right is exercised by a show of force. You know, having lots of money and a big giant army is always helpful. Thomas Hobbes later contributes that governments actually exist because people let the governments exist through this thing called the social contract. And so what's going to happen, what Thomas Hobbes says about the social contract, is that people are going to give up some of their individual rights to the state so that the state can protect me from you. So I do not have the right to do whatever I want because I don't want you to have the right to do whatever you want. So I let the government make rules for me that I must follow so that you too must follow that law so that you cannot hurt me. And later, John Locke adds to the idea of the social contract that the power of the government comes from the people governed. The government exists because we let them exist, and the government exists to protect our natural rights. And John Locke referred to our natural rights as life, liberty, and property. It is the government's job to uphold the social contract. So here are some of the things that they do to promote the social contract. First, they maintain order. They make sure that our rights are not infringed upon by other people. They provide services to make our lives less chaotic and more ordered and structured and safe. They help to resolve conflict by providing spaces where conflict can be peacefully resolved. So they will provide mediation or court services, things like that. You know you can sue people if you want. Also, the government promotes values. We elect, in the United States, we elect our rulers, our leaders, and the things that they pass and promote as long as we keep voting them into office, are the things we're saying we want them to promote. So the government promotes values, and really is a reflection of our beliefs and values. Now, if the government is not looking out for our public good, under divine right of kings, there's nothing you could do about it, because if you disagreed with the king, you disagreed with the gods. And who is crazy enough to do that? But under the idea of the social contract, since it is the government's job to protect our natural rights, it is up to the people to remove and replace the government. So in some countries, that involves revolution and craziness and wild death. But here in the United States, we actually have a built-in mechanism to replace our government, and it's very civil. It's very easy to do, and everyone has the right to do it. You have the right to replace your government, and that is by voting. Boys and girls, every November there are elections, and so you have the right to go in there and have a say in your election. And if enough people like you, or believe like you, then you're going to get your way. So it is possible for us to replace our government completely peacefully. And so the public good is the public interest, or the well-being of society as a whole. And how does the government know what policies are going to serve the public good? Well, they ask themselves, does this policy reflect the narrow interests of a few or the broad concerns of many? So if they continuously pass policies that benefit a few special interest groups, they're going to end up getting voted out of office because they are not doing what's best for the majority. And to stay in office, you have to have the support of the majority. And so, if a person stays in office, it can be assumed that they are passing policies that meet the needs of many people. And that's it.